It's all about energy and action when it comes to Rata Co. We just spoke to Tony and Robert from Rata Co in Melbourne. They run the #1 property management business for the whole of Harcourts across Australia. They run it with incredibly high energy, have an extraordinary culture in their business, and we spoke to them about what they see as the growth opportunities in the coming months. So make sure you check out our new vlog. Hope you enjoy.
Hi guys, well, welcome back to our Surviving COVID-19 series. Well, really, we're just we're partway through the pandemic, so hopefully it's not surviving COVID, but it's now sort of moving through. I've got some great guests here today. These guys are a young, dynamic team. They've got 4 offices, residential offices, 1 commercial office in Victoria. It's Tony Lombardi and Robert Ozzimo from Harcourts, Rata Co. We'll get to them in just a second. Down below, there's a subscribe button for YouTube. Make sure you hit that. You'll be able to get our interviews as they drop. Also, follow homely.com.au on Spotify and also on iTunes for our podcast. Welcome, guys. Tony and Robert, thanks for giving us a few minutes today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Guys, give us a little bit of an overview. You've got 4 offices at residential offices and 1 commercial. You're running between about 80 and 100 staff. What sort of area in Victoria you operate in? Give us a bit of a breakdown of the demographic there.
We're mostly in the north, so our residential offices are in Reservoir, Thomastown, Epping and Mill Park. We service all the suburbs in between, so we've got Laylaw and Wollert and South Morang and Crescent that we service. And our commercial business runs out of our Epping office. And a lot of the commercial business that we do is in Epping, spilling over a little bit to Campbellfield and Craigieburn.
Yep. Okay. All right.
Core area for us.
Yeah, sure. Okay. All right. So 4 offices and obviously a large sort of property management department as well.
Yeah, very, very large property management department. So the number 1 property management department in Harcourts, Australia, actually. So quite large. We run a fairly large team. There's a department head that takes care of that. Obviously with our guidance through management.
Okay. All right. Guys, let's drill down into what the last couple of months has been look like and how that's sort of shaped the next couple of months for you. You run, so how many people would in your 80 to 100 staff would be in your sales team?
I'd say probably about 30 to 40.
Yeah, approximately that.
Yep, 30 to 40 across those. Okay. And so we've obviously talked about some of the big changes and everyone sort of had to adapt in the same way, working from home and Zoom and all that sort of stuff. What's some key strategies you've had in place to maintain culture and also to sort of keep productivity high and also confidence and also morale high? What sort of things have you put in place around that?
I think the most important thing that you can do is stay active. I feel like not just in real estate, but just in general, a lot of businesses that have the ability to operate have sort of retreated, sort of burying their heads in the sand. It's important that whatever you do, you remain active. You get as much interaction as you can with the team, whether it be in the office or we're doing a lot of Zoom meetings now, and we just had our first full office Zoom meeting last week, which went quite well, and it was a fun experience to do, and everyone's doing different backgrounds and stuff. So we're having fun with it too. But it's just about making sure that we keep as close to normal as possible. Bearing in mind all the restrictions that we've got with COVID-19, and making sure that the social distancing is in place in the offices. But those that are able to come and work in the office, we prefer that they do come and work in the office. We're complying with everything that we need to do within the walls of the office. I think that routine and keeping as close to a routine as possible is important for us to continue to be able to provide the service that our clients expect.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So when you're saying staying active, so for the sales guys, it's actively chasing down their pipeline and remaining active and very present in front of their clients. You said a lot of offices have sort of probably not closed down, but have certainly lost momentum around that. So what's some of the things that you've done around remaining active or staying present with your clientele?
Look, I think comes hand in hand with a bit of the digital technology, because obviously you're not having those face-to-face communication, as much as you would like to have, especially if we go back 6 months ago. It was all about face-to-face communication, getting the guys active in doing that. They were out door knocking and doing all those sorts of things. We've really embraced the digital technology at the moment, and we're using digital platforms to be able to get out to our clients. The guys are making a hell of a lot more calls at the moment. They're using their programs and trying to get a bit more of a community aspect to themselves at the moment, to be really fair. So they're utilising a program called Rata. They're utilising ActivePipe, and they are bringing that back into our CRM system to really try and make sure that they can keep in contact with as many clients as possible, but to also have that communication and that touch point. And I think that that's probably been the biggest change if we go back probably, 3-4 months now. This is all, to be really fair for us, this is probably something that we were doing pre-coronavirus. So we were gearing ourselves up to make the guys a lot more efficient and to be more in touch with their client database.
I think there was not so much resistance, but a little bit of reluctance to take on board all the technology that we've implemented over the last few months. But now going into this crisis, the team has really embraced it. And I think we're getting a lot more out of the technology that we've implemented right now than we otherwise would have. And so we're quite fortunate that we had been, that was one of our pet projects for maybe the last 12 months. A lot of the implementation has happened over the last 3 to 4. But having, over the last 12 months set up these platforms and these, we've got new CRM and we've got all these things that artificial intelligence programs that plug into it. It's really keeping the guys busy, and they're using this time, aside from doing their private inspections, which takes more time now than having a half hour open, having 10 people through. To get 10 people through a house now, you've probably got to allocate a few hours to that to make sure that you're complying with their restrictions. And outside of that, they've been really active working on their database. So together with the technology, they've been able to get in touch with their database and make sure that the data that we've got is usable data. It's up to date and it's clean. It's relevant to the consumer that we're contacting.
Okay, so you made a really, really strong shift to digital last year. What was the catalyst for that? What did you see, or what did you? How was your strategy formulated around that? Why did you make such a strong move to digital early on?
Look, I think it's a little bit of foresight, trying to get a gauge as to where the industry is going to be in, say, 5 to 10 years' time. Digital is the way of the future. If you look at some of the industries and outside of real estate, what they've been able to do and the digital platforms that they're able to use to make, I suppose, their industry more efficient, to make their people more efficient. I think that was our catalyst. I think we looked a little bit at the bank and how they're operating and how, internet banking and how far that's gone from where it started to where it is now, and how you communicate with those major companies that we deal with on a regular basis. So we decided, I think, probably about 12 months ago that we were going to push towards digital. And I think we're really proud now that we've been able to, potentially sit around that 95% paperless for sales, and probably about that as of today. We've launched a couple of things today, 80-85% now property management department. So it was a push.
That's astounding. That's an astounding statistic. That's impressive. 95% paperless for your sales department. That's
100%. Apart from the odd sales contract that we need to sign purely on a basis where we didn't have the data, the contracts early enough. That would be it. Everything else, all of our auction contracts, our authorities, everything that we do now is completely digital, start to finish. So no more sales files. We don't have a sales file. That doesn't exist in our office.
Yeah,
we have a digital one.
It makes archiving a lot easier.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that we noticed with... Sorry,
Dave, I was just going to make the point that the technology is something that consumers are coming to expect now. And they want to deal with people that are in that space. They expect that with whatever transaction they're doing at the moment, that there's going to be some sort of assistance with technology, whether they're catching an Uber or even. I'll give you an example. Today, I went through Macca's to get a coffee, and I ordered the coffee, and then I realised I didn't have my wallet on me. And usually I've got my phone, like a smartphone on, that I can pay with my phone. And I looked at my wrist, and I haven't got that phone on. Oh, sorry, not my watch. Sorry, I haven't got that watch on today. And so, like in 2 seconds, I called my wife at home, and she gave me the credit card number. By the time I got from the ordering speaker to the window, I had set up pay on my phone. And so I made it just in time. I was able to pay. So consumers are coming to expect that sort of efficiency at the moment. And I think that a lot of agents are resistant to that because they see embracing that technology as making themselves irrelevant. But I think that we're more relevant than ever because the one thing that technology can't replace is the empathy that we're able to provide with our customers. The technology doesn't have that empathy. So it's not so much about replacing the agent. It's about enhancing what the agent is able to offer their clients. And we can see that that's the way that everything's going. I think real estate has probably been a little bit slow on the uptake, but it's inevitable that we're going to be there. So I don't think there's any point in fighting. I think the best thing to do is to get out in front of it, to embrace it, and to show this is a great time for us to show that even with all the technology and the online platforms and everything that we've got in place, that as agents in that transaction, we're still a vital part of that transaction. And as an industry, we're still relevant. We're just more efficient.
Yeah, 100%.
Mate, your wife's clearly a lot more understanding than mine. I'm sure if I rang home to get the credit card to buy a coffee, I'd be in trouble.
Oh, shit. You didn't know what was going on. So quick, get the credit card. She's like, what's going on? Get the credit card. I'm next in the window.
God forbid you were hungry, mate. God forbid you were hungry.
The window, the assistant put out the FPOS machine. Just made it.
No,
I drove out of there thinking, oh, that's just great. I didn't have it set up 2 minutes ago. I had a need for it, and the technology set up and the ease of use to be able to set up Apple Pay in that that 1 minute space was just unbelievable.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So just talk to me about that, the digital side of things with the salespeople, because I know that a lot of salespeople need it front of mind. They need to see it every day in front of them. How do you find with your CRM and a lot of the digital systems that they're coping with it, or have they made the change?
Look, I think, that was the tricky part, and trying to find programs or software that was able to facilitate that is the hardest part. I think our CRM system that we've now got, we've been able to build a lot of technology around it, and we've been able to build in some automation to our clients, automation back to our agents, so that there's certain things that the agent's been reminded of on a regular basis it's happening in the background that nobody needs to send to them. The system is already doing that for us. So it is keeping things top of mind awareness, top of mind for them. And I think it's just the programs that we've been able to do it. Look, we probably are a little bit, I reckon the journey probably started with our conversation with Angus and Andrew from BidTracker, to be honest. And they've been really good working with us to create a program of some software that's really good for us. They had a really, really good program. We obviously were able to put a little bit of a spin on it for us to help us do what we needed to do. And there's the amount of time and the efficiency that particular program was able to save for us was amazing. I mean, if we're talking about staff costs and we're talking about efficiency and being able to, I think Rob's right. Real estate has made a shift, and it more so in the last 3 to 6 months with coronavirus and where that's going to take us and the amount of digital technology that people are uptaking. I think you can never replace that human element in the transaction. So you still need someone there to be able to negotiate the best price, to be able to work with the vendors and the buyers and try and marry that all up together. But the technology now means that we can spend more time doing that than sending out something or scanning something at the photocopier. I mean, we only need to go back. If I got my admin manager here and she told you how long our receptionist would spend on a Monday and Tuesday scanning contracts from auctions on Saturday, probably was a day and a half of scanning. 20 to 30 contracts on a Saturday scanning, then sending them off, and the scan didn't happen and this didn't happen. It's all automated. We don't do any of that anymore. It's signed, sent off, the buyer gets it, the vendor gets it, the solicitor from the vendor gets it, the solicitor from the buyer gets it, the agent gets it, and back at head office, they get it, and bang, we're off and it's done. So, it's just around building, finding the right programs and making sure that we can keep things top of mind, because obviously, like you said, if they don't see it, maybe they won't remember it. So you've got to still build in that parameter around making sure that we can still get those reminders out to the agents, but without them having to go chase it. We want it right there for them. So they wake up, on a morning, And by 6 o'clock in the morning, they've received their email from Rita saying, hey, this is what's going on. They've received an email from the accounts department saying, hey, we need to chase up this deposit because it was due today or it's due yesterday. You need to chase up this finance clause because that's happening. Automated.
And
Nothing for them to do.
From a salesperson's point of view, the technology helps them to get to the root of what the consumer is looking for.
Yeah.
If they're looking to buy in a certain area, or they just want to keep their finger on the pulse of prices around properties that they own. So the interactions that the salespeople are having with their customers is much more meaningful at the moment, and the technology helps us with that immensely.
100%.
Yeah, okay.
Rather than just like throwing a dart at a dartboard and just hoping that they land anywhere, we can really target the information that we're giving to our customers, and it's tailored and it's unique to them.
I think the biggest thing is around, most top end sales guys will have a personal assistant or 2 or 3, and it's a bit like that. It's a bit like having a virtual assistant that's doing quite a lot of stuff for you in the background, so the agent can focus on what they do best: listing property, selling property, speaking to agents, speaking to buyers, speaking to their vendors, giving feedback, building on relationships, as you said, as opposed to getting bogged down in sending an email and forwarding a contract and scanning something. I mean, that's old school. We don't do that anymore.
Good.
I'd get rid of the printers, but I reckon I'd have I think the guys are still a little bit worried on it. But I think at some point, I'm sure the printers won't exist in our office.
No, you could have a printer. There'd be a mutiny on the hands, I think, if you didn't. Guys, just thinking about your 4 offices, at what point did you, obviously you've taken over offices or built new offices along the journey. When did you go from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4? And I'm just interested in what you would put down as some key strategies or some key learnings around the growth from going from 1 to 2, or indeed from 1 to 4 offices, and including 5 offices, I suppose, including the commercial side of things.
Yeah. So we opened our first office in 2010. That was at Epping.
Okay.
And to be honest with you, I mean, we're going through a difficult time at the moment. And one of the reasons why I'm so positive and optimistic is because what we're going through at the moment is nothing compared to, what the ringer that we were put through when we opened our doors.
So it's just post GFC, right? In
it was just post the GFC,
yeah.
so 2010. So the market was okay, it wasn't great. And not one sale, not one listing. I'd take this any day of the week, knowing that we've got the team that we've got and the rep roll that we've got to get us through, than going back there. So for me, this is not, I'm not going to say a walk in the park, but it's certainly a challenge and that we can learn from and find opportunity in. But it's certainly not as difficult as starting from scratch with absolutely nothing. So we got through that first year in 2010. 2011, we came by an opportunity to purchase a rep roll in Thomastown. It was an existing office. It was an independent brand. That was a rep roll that was there for quite a number of years with the operator there that had been in real estate for maybe 30 or 40 years. So we decided to act on that and purchase that rent roll. And instead of amalgamating that rent roll into our existing Epping business, we decided to operate the office, which led to, at that time we were Harcourts Epping and Harcourts Thomastown. We did the same thing in 2013 with Harcourts Mill Park. We purchased an existing rent roll there.
Oh, there we go.
That's
it's only on favourites. I have my grandfather on just in case he rings me in an emergency. So I'll just send it. No, I'll just send it through to the wife.
So in 2013, we did the same. We replicated what we did in Thomastown and purchased a rent roll in Mill Park and got into that market that way. And then it was 2017 we did Reservoir.
Yeah, I think probably around that time.
And in between, we did the same with our commercial office. We bought a small commercial rent roll, which helped us to attract a couple of good commercial agents that we partnered with in that venture. So I guess, David, you asked, what's the learning curve for us? Is that
what was the catalyst for growth? Yeah,
much easier to grow and to open new offices with an existing rent roll.
Yeah, it's rent roll.
So, when we opened up Epping, we did it with no rent roll, and that was probably the most difficult part of our journey. The other offices, we've found that the journey is easier when you have an existing rent roll that you can plug into that business. So my advice to anyone out there that's looking to get into their first office or expand into a second or third or whatever it may be, I think the rep roll is key because it underpins the strength of the business. It gives you an existing client database to work with. But more importantly, it gives you that recurring income that you can rely on as you build your business in the background.
Yeah, rent roll's key. That you could sum it up in that, I reckon. We spoke around it yesterday.
Yeah,
we were talking about it yesterday, exactly that. And
actually,
I think you sum it up in 2 words: rent roll. If there's an opportunity there to potentially look at a purchase, that is the quickest way to grow. Absolutely no doubt, and it provides opportunity.
Yeah,
that's what it does. It opens doors. We bought a commercial rent roll with never doing commercial, not knowing how to do commercial, not ever being in commercial, but we purchased it on the basis that we knew that it would be an opportunity that would lead us to somewhere. And it led us to our business partner that came on board, John Georgiou, and the rest is history.
But that's the key, it's the opportunity.
100%.
Okay. So you now have the largest rent roll or the largest property management rent roll in Harcourts for Australia. You don't get there by doing the same as everyone else has done. What do you do differently?
Look, I think it comes in 2 folds. I mean, I think firstly you've got rent roll, which helps you grow exponentially. We're always open to opportunities, so we're always open to looking at potentially an opportunity to get out there and maybe buy another rent roll and do all that sort of stuff. But I think we've been able to build a pretty good culture. We've got a really, really good team, and it's sort of just grown from that point. I think I think the word you're looking for, Tony, is energy. 100%. Yeah. Without that, we'd have nothing.
So how do you bring that? How do you bring the energy? How do you create it?
Look. I think from a leadership point of view, it's got to start with us.
Yep.
Yeah.
Leadership needs to be energetic. You've got to walk through the door happy. You've got to walk through the door with energy to be able to keep going and going and going, no matter what the circumstances. And I think that's been a real testament to us, especially during these last 3 months. We have been on the button with everything. We've really been. Look, I'd love to get one of my staff members up to be able to tell you this, because it's all good for us to say it from our end. But I'm sure if you speak to our staff, we've really made sure that we've tried to communicate with them the whole way, provide them with as much information as we possibly could, and be able to tell them that it's all okay, it's all good, we're going to get through this, we're going to get through it together as a team and keep moving forward. But that starts with us. We can say it, we can tell them, we can try and pitch it as much as we like, we can put out these great social media posts on Facebook and all the rest of it. But if we don't live and breathe it ourselves, it's just not going to happen. I mean, I say to my wife asks me all the time, and anybody that knows me will tell you that I just don't stop. I just keep going all the time, 24/7. But she says to me every day, she goes, I can't believe you get up at 5:30 every day and you go to the gym, and then you'll go to work and you'll come home, and sometimes I'll go for a run afterwards. She goes, I don't understand how you do it. I do it because I know that I can't do my normal day-to-day 9 to 5, so to speak, and not that real estate's a 9 to 5, but if we use it in a metaphorical sense,
Yes.
The 9 to 5, I couldn't do that without keeping my body fit, without keeping my mind fit, without eating well. It's impossible to do. For me, that's how I keep it going. I mean, everybody's different.
For me, energy starts with mindset. We have a decision every morning that we're how we're going to approach our day, from a positive aspect or a negative aspect. And it's important that as leaders, we come into the business with positivity. That's what creates energy in the office. Yeah. And if you were to walk through our office, you would feel that. It's almost tangible. You can almost feel it. But more importantly, the environment that we create in our office with that energy, that translates to what we do out in the public. Whether we're out on the street calling an auction on site, which we can't wait to get back to. But even if you watch our online auctions, you'll feel that energy come through the screen. You'll feel the energy of the team, even though you can't see them. You'll feel the energy of our brand and our company. And I think that energy, it becomes an attractant. It attracts good people to our business in terms of staff. Yep. It also attracts good client relationships and helps us to build a database.
good relationships with our suppliers, good relationships with everybody, to be really honest with you.
Guys, you clearly, you are a very energetic team. There's no doubt about that. It comes through the very screen. So I can see that's a key strategy for your business. Okay, guys. So partnerships are very important to you, and especially when you've got a 4-5 office network, it's really paramount and prudent that you partner with the right suppliers. Who are some of the key guys that you're working with at the moment?
Look, I think as we mentioned before, Bid Tracker's probably been the catalyst for us to start exploring the digital world, and that happened, maybe 18 months ago, I reckon. We're at Macquarie Bank, and we had our business planning session, and probably a shout out to Macquarie Bank as well, because they've been a great supporter of ours for a very long time, to be honest with you. And I think we sat down and went through a bit of that digital world with Bid Tracker and what they could do and some of the automation.
So Bid Tracker were originally offering you an online auction platform?
No, they've got some elements of that, but it's more around.
You can follow the bidding online.
Yeah, you can follow the bidding sequence, but it's more around authorities. So real-time agent, Bid Tracker, I probably should mention both their brand names.
Sure.
So real-time agent will take care of the initial authorities. So we were able to work through them with that on our auctions, exclusives, and general authorities. That sort of flows then into Bid Tracker, which will track your bidding, allow clients to be able to see the sequence of bidding, and then we obviously digitally sign contracts. And we've also just recently, probably a few months ago, moved into the private sales side of that. So they've been really, really good with that, being able to provide that platform. I mean, obviously our internet providers have been really, really good. I think the community feel that we've been able to get with Homely's probably hit the mark for us, that we're able to get clients a little bit more involved in the sale of their property, to be able to go in and put in reviews and do all that sort of stuff has really sort of worked for us over the short term. I think the biggest thing about those two suppliers as well is the fact that we've got really strong relationships with our account managers. So obviously Andrew with Bid Tracker and Steve with Homely, they're always in contact with us. We're always speaking to them. They're willing to take a little bit of feedback back so that we can sort of tailor what we need for us. You don't get that with everybody, unfortunately. And I think that we've been able to help them get a better product, but also help ourselves at the same time and help our clients by having that open lines of communication.
Also, I think in this time, to elaborate on Tony's point, in this time, the suppliers that have really stood out in our mind have been the ones that you can tell that they really care, that they're with you. Tony mentioned Steve Glenn from Homely's. We're always on the phone with him. I'm speaking to him at least once or twice a week. I can say the same about our rep from Diacrete, who does all our photography. So I'm always on the phone with Adam Fatini. Anywhere Auctions has come to the party too. We've had sort of relationship with them in the past and sort of toyed with their platform a little bit here and there, but when we needed to really roll it out, they were there from day one. So the suppliers that care are really showing that at the moment, and I suppose they're always there with whatever we need. Yeah. And they're not waiting for us to pick up the phone. And sometimes it's just a matter of Steve picking up the phone and saying, "Hey boys, how are you doing? Is there anything we can help with?" And whether we need that help or not, just him doing that means so much to us.
I think the other, and like I touched on before, but Macquarie Bank have been a massive supporter of ours, and to be honest with you, they've been hand in hand with us in our growth. Always being able to.
We've got a loan application at the moment.
We do have a loan application at the moment, but that's not the point. Regardless of that, they have been really, really good for us. Look, to be honest with you, I mean, we've had a few reps along the way, but the guys have been absolutely outstanding, being able to provide us what we require to be able to grow, assisting us with financing the rent roll purchases, building purchases, all that sort of stuff now has really, really assisted us. And without them, I mean, you would nearly say that they're our number one partner in regards of, the exponential growth, to be fair.
Okay, mate, I'm going to finish off with, well, guys, I'm going to finish off with one last question. And I just want to know what growth opportunities you see in the coming months. Is it another office? Is it plural? Is it, where do you see some real growth opportunities for Rata & Co over the coming quarter?
I think I think there's going to be massive opportunities.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but I believe that there'll probably be officers coming out of this that haven't done what needs to be done to get through this. There'll be opportunities for those officers looking to scale down or to get out. I think there'll be massive opportunity to take market share. Right now, the market's still quite buoyant. And I think what's driving that at the moment is the lack of stock. For every 2 listings that you list now is worth 5 in terms of market share. So I think there's a great opportunity for those that don't have market share to take it, for those that do have market share to increase that market share to cement themselves as leaders in their markets. I think the opportunities are just going to be endless and everywhere. And you need to be active now in order to take advantage of those as we come out of this, because it's too late. Once the wheels start turning again, and if that's when you plan on starting the engine and getting out there, you're already behind. Right now is the time to make sure that you're active, make sure that you've got energy in the office, make sure that you've got all your team on board, so that when the market shifts, you're there to take advantage.
So
I think I've gone on record on saying many times that hope's not a strategy, we must plan. I think the plan that we had from the get-go was that our competitors, or some of our competitors, were going to see this as a dead end and potentially maybe not get out there and do the things that they needed to do. I think our plan was that we were going to work harder, and we were going to work faster, and we were going to work better at everything that we did while this was going on. So when we got out the other end, we were going to be in a much better position.
That's always.
Well, it's always been our plan, but I think we stepped that up to another level. I mean, I think I've worked more now having this sort of technology, your Zoom meetings and your calls and stuff like that. I think the other day we were online with the digital tech provider at 9 o'clock at night, who lived in Ireland. And that's the sort of stuff at the moment that we're exploring every option. We're lifting up every rock. We're just trying to find out what we can do, how we can do it better, how we can get our team in front of it, and really trying to give everybody, our clients especially, an opportunity to be able to utilize the work that we've done in the back end to then translate into a better price or less time, without a tenant, or getting a tenant into a property quicker, or even finding a buyer a property that suits their requirements that other agents weren't able to find. So I think for us, there's a few different things along the way to be able to move forward with, but you've got a plan. You've got to put a plan in place. You can't hope. I was just talking to some of the guys from Harcourts the other day, and they were saying that there's some stories out there of agents that have gone home and shut the door and haven't really, done too much because they don't know what to do. I told my guys the first thing you need to do is pick up the phone and don't put it down and just keep on going.
it's good. Guys, love the energy and looking forward to seeing the growth over the coming months. We'll be watching closely your office. It seems like it's really on the move. So thank you for giving us a bit of time today. Really appreciate it.
Thanks very much. We really appreciate it.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.